Welcome back in studio here, Native News Today. Jason Salzman, your host, joined now with the newly confirmed head of education and training here at Muskogee Creek Nation. That is Mr. Greg Anderson. He is a former Eufaula Ironhead, former Oklahoma Sooner, so I think him and I are going to get along just fine here in studio today.
I think we will.
Greg, thanks for coming in with us, man.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
First things first, hadn't been on the job very long in the position that you're in now, but what was it that for you was exciting and really invigorated you to take this step and answer the call of Chief Floyd and his administration to head up this department?
Well, first and foremost, it was the opportunity to come home. I served the Muskogee Creek Nation for 30 years. As a superintendent at the Eufaula dormitory. I was fortunate to have that opportunity. Went to D.C. for 2 years with the Bureau of Indian Education as the Chief of Staff. Great learning experience, enjoyed it. But I think 2 years was long enough for me, and I had the opportunity to come home to my family, to friends, and rejoin the Muskogee Creek Nation, which to me is a great place to work.
What's been your initial assessment of what you've taken over? What are some of the things that you all are doing right now this early in the job?
Right now, we're pretty much going along with the programs that are in place. You don't want to make wholesale changes in the middle of the process. So at this point in time, we're evaluating, we're meeting with staff. We're having meetings and discussing how we can become a more efficient and effective department. What do we need to do to be able to deliver services better to our people? So all 12 of our programs will be discussed, analyzed, and we'll find a better way to serve the people of the Muskogee Creek Nation.
You know as well as I do, especially with so many years here at Muskogee Creek Nation, you're always going to have people that don't like the way certain things are ran, or there's not enough here, or we're not doing enough here. What are some of the things? Have you heard feedback from citizens that are things that you would probably agree on, or some things that you're addressing immediately?
Sure, I think leaving, being here 30 years and then leaving for 2 years gave me the opportunity to look at the nation from the outside, see how things worked, maybe get a different perspective of the nation, how it operates and how it serves its citizens. What we're doing now is I want to make sure that the core programs, such as higher ed, employment and training, those programs that have been in existence a long time, how can we better utilize the services that we do? Let's take a look at how we can improve what we offer our citizens. Let's break it down. Let's from start to finish. How can we become a more effective and efficient department? So I think there's a way that you can improve your base programs, make them the best they can be. Cut down on the complaints, obviously, is what we want to do. We want to make sure that everybody gets good service. But having said that, you also have to look down the road and think about what can we implement? What are other programs out there that we can implement to provide services, not only for the citizens, but maybe improve what we're already doing in these other programs as well.
Is a lot of that, Greg, sort of looking at other things and other places, organizations, even tribes, seeing some of the things they've done that have worked, almost like a, you get an idea of, you throw ideas on the wall, sort of, but looking at other places and kind of seeing what's happened. Do you take a lot of input from that kind of thing? Absolutely.
I've met with the education directors of many of the other tribes, particularly the Choctaws, the Chickasaws, the Cherokees, the Seminoles, who are in the 5 civilized tribes, and we meet during intertribal, which is coming up next week. We have conference calls, we have meetings, and we look at what each other is doing, and sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes somebody's has a practice in place that may work for you. I'm certainly not afraid to borrow a good idea and implement it in our department. And if it's going to improve the services, let's move forward with it.
You said several years at Eufaula dormitory. myself from Eufaula certainly know the viability of that place, that center, and what it's done, what it did for the kids that were in my age when I was coming up through school, and seeing that they had a place that could not only foster their upbringing but their educational progress as well. Talk about that for the folks out there that may not know that we even have a Eufaula dormitory, but really how it works, and the best things that you've seen from it, and some things that now that you're over education and training as a whole, maybe the future of that facility.
I think the Eufaula dormitory has a long-standing history, not only in the Eufaula area, but in the state of Oklahoma, particularly within the Creek Nation boundaries. A lot of people don't know it was the original Eufaula High School. Its history goes back a long ways. With that being said, the dormitory offers an environment for kids who may want, these days, who may want to get out of your urban areas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, where there's a greater influence of gangs, drugs, and things that we don't want our children growing up around. They bring them to a community like Eufaula, which is a small rural community that has a good public education system. And these students have an opportunity to come and maybe go to a school of that size, but also maybe it's a fresh start for them. Maybe they've struggled with their academics or attending school. And it's a good start to maybe improve in those areas. We reinforce the value of an education. We reinforce the fact that you have to go to school. We reinforce that we need parental involvement, parental support, and that's what we really push at the dormitory. So I think the kids that go to school there understand that. We have a lot of alumni that work here at the Muskogee Creek Nation. I saw a lot of them at the festival last week and had some great conversations with some of our alumni and some current students. And they're proud that they went to school there. They're proud that they got the education and had an opportunity to go on in life and be productive.
Right. Higher ed, the scholarship amounts, in number, are we able to, and along with now you coming back, and one of the newer things is the Higher Education Scholarship Foundation. We're doing a good job there? Are we providing enough scholarships? I know we could probably always do more, but what do you think?
Well, the foundation is a good concept. A lot of people are doing it. It's still in its infancy. I mean, it's only been around a couple of years. It takes a long time for those programs to develop the financials to support a lot of scholarships. They're not doing as much as I think they want to, and that's one program we're evaluating. Higher ed is another program that we're servicing a lot of people, and I think that can be mirrored from the fact that we had to go to the National Council and increase our incentive grants. So that means that more students are going to school, more students are doing well. So that's an indication that our kids are involved in higher education, and those that are obviously are meeting the standard to receive an incentive grant, which we're very proud of.
Right. Not only have you went before the council for confirmation here recently, but there's some things having to do with your department that have went to the council and will be coming to the council. One of those things has been the Bot Ball program. We've featured it here on Native News Today, and it was one of those close votes. You know, there was some people for it, some people against it. Specifically, and I'm just taking this as an example, but specifically, could you look at an issue like that and see the reasons there were yes votes and no votes? Or, I mean, how do you see the program? I know you're coming in new with it, but do you see the reason that it was maybe such a close vote?
I think there's a couple of reasons. First of all, I think Bot Ball is a great program. I think it offers an opportunity, and it's a special niche program that offers technology development, code writing, and things like that a lot of young people are interested in, and there's a career in that field. It's going to be a big thing for the future. But I can understand why some may have not been for it, and I think a lot of that has to do with the state of the financial situation of the tribe. There's only so much money to go around, and they have to be very selective and about what they fund. And I understand that. It's like running your home checkbook. You know, you pay your electric first, and then some of your other items go down the list of priority. So I can see why it was close, but I think it's a very, very good program that can help a lot of students in the fields such technology and code writing that they may want to pursue in the future.
Do you think you guys, what you're doing and what you're trying to do, could you also be a little bit hamstrung with as far as the financial problems or the maybe shortfalls that we're facing?
I think we all will be affected by it. How we deal with that will be the key. We have to be selective about how we spend our money. We have to be very, very frugal. We have to be selective about where that money goes, where we invest it. Obviously, some programs have been around a long time, and I think those are the ones that would be in the comprehensive annual budget are the ones that you look at first. And then as you develop your priorities, you go down the list and determine we have money for this, or we may not have money for another. So I think we try to develop the departments that we want, and then the National Council really has to take a close, along with the chief, take a close look at how the nation spends their money. Where do they put their finances? And a lot of times that is determined by the 16-member National Council and the Principal Chief.
Yeah. Living in the technology age, everything, tip of your fingers, social media, it's a different world now than even it was 10 years ago. What's education and training doing to make sure that you stay up with that as far as social media, things like that, and really contact availability with the citizens, students, and schools?
Gosh, I just think we're trying to take advantage of every social media outlet that you possibly can now, and the ones that we do practice, of course, everybody is involved in with your Facebooks and your Twitters, and really just taking advantage of the internet, and everybody pretty much everybody has availability to that. Your rural areas still, in some areas, struggle some, but I think you have to stay with the times and to reach the audience that you want, to reach our citizens. You have to maintain, you have to stay on top of it. And I think our departments are doing a good job of that. I think in most cases they're doing it effectively, but you can always do it better. And again, part of what we're doing with our departments, all 12 of them, are looking at how can we be more effective, how can we be more efficient, and I think information technology is right at the top as far as how we work with our clients.
Well, before I let you get out of here, any parting shots, anything that the citizens need to know about MCN Education and Training under your leadership?
I think we're going to do all that we can to improve the programs. We certainly welcome ideas, suggestions. We're always available in our department to visit with citizens, to if there's any issues, any challenges that citizens face. We want to hear about them, because I think that's our way of keeping in touch, letting them know that we are listening, we want to improve, and at the end of the day, that's who we work for.
Right. All right, fantastic job, Greg. Thanks for coming in with us today, being with us here on Native News Today. And that door's always open. Come and visit with us whenever you'd like.
We appreciate that.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the show.